Hey, welcome back to Box on the Box Rock and Celluloid. So I've been looking at what I think will be modern masterpieces. So films released between 2010 till the end 2019. From the previous episode, we had at number 10, 12 Years a Slave, 9, Mission Impossible Fallout, 8, Gone Girl, 7, Mad Max Fury Road, and 6, Whiplash. So I think what typifies that is, a lot of great filmmakers, the only kind of filmmaker people wouldn't be as aware of than is maybe Steve McQueen if you hadn't seen Hunger or forgotten the name of his second film. It's really good. I mean, and Steve McQueen's first 3 films are excellent. Okay, so let's go in number 5. So my number 5 choice is a director I mentioned before. He nearly made the cut with Sicario. It's Blade Runner 2049. Denis Villeneuve. I've got to confess, I still haven't seen his film Indices. I must see that. That's terrible. Not the film, the fact that I haven't seen it. Obviously, we're supposed to be getting June soon, but I suspect that will be one of the top films from 2020 onwards. The trailer looks incredible. But yeah, I loved Blade Runner 2049. The trailer was great, and the film lived up to its promise. I made beautiful visuals. I liked what it did with the character. I liked what it did with the Harrison Ford character. And I think it kind of explained the kind of replicants thing that the skin jobs that they're clones rather than anything robotic, which isn't always as clear in Blade Runner. And so it makes a really good companion piece of that film. Great cinematography, finally winning, Roger Deakins the Oscar after something like 12 nominations. When the guy's just staggering. And his work with Villeneuve, I think, is kind of, obviously does the Coen Brothers and Sam Mendes, but done Skyfall as well. But when he gets together with Villeneuve, I mean, hopefully he's doing Dune, and it's going to be something special. So number 4, I'm going for Boyhood 2014. So this won the Oscar, I think, for Best Picture, or did it? Was it Best Director? Richard Linklater. It should have done. Excuse if I've got so many facts wrong. I'm kind of just doing this off trace memory, really. The first time I watched this film, I thought, what's this going to be like? This guy's kind of filmed it over, 12 years and whatever. And literally in the first few minutes, the sister, who's actually Richard Linklater's daughter, does an impression of Britney Spears. And it date stamps the point at which they made the film. And from that moment, it just had me. It was so good. And I learned a lot from this film, in a weird way. In life when you're younger, not much happens. You just go to school and you get into music and girls, or try drink for the first time. If you have a regular life, and obviously the boy in it, his mum gets divorced, and then she has a dodgy boyfriend. But that's not massively unusual. There's a bit where they're playing, and there was some indoors, and there's some kind of broken glass or spikes on some building site thing. I can't quite remember. I remember watching and thinking, oh no, something's going to happen. The kid's going to get knocked. He's going to fall on those spikes. He's not seeing the danger. And then it doesn't happen. And then I realised, well, if it was being a typical film, his mate would fall into the spikes and die, and it would be this tragedy in the film. But this isn't a film where it follows a film narrative. It tries to follow the normal life of growing up. And then the way Linklater's kind of filmed the lad, and every year in his life is just brilliant. Very, very kind of... it reminds me of Francois Truffaut with his... he did the 400 Blows, and then he followed that character at different points in his life. Antoine Dionel, I think the name of the character was. So this is different, it's every year, but the performances are great. Patricia Arquette, Ethan Hawke as well. He kind of starts out this cool dad, and then he goes more conservative, and you do go kind of straighter as you get older. It's a film I'm looking forward to watching again, but... when the time's right. But I just really clever idea, a real extraordinary achievement, but really speaking some kind of human truths. Great movie. So that's number 4. Number 3, it's quite a tough one, this. But I'm going to go for Parasite. So this was the talk of 2019, I think quite rightly so. And I think when it won the Oscar for Best Picture, Best Director, I think there were some people kind of sniffing, they're just, they're just trying to be, hip or something, I don't know. But I think the Oscars were really savvy, because what they recognised 2 things with this film. A, it was the best film. It was by far the best film that year. But B, it's South Korean, it's a foreign language film, but again, it recognises human truths. We're living in a world of inequities economically, and you can That doesn't matter if you live in England, America, and so on. And the family, the main family in the film, lives in very reduced circumstances compared to the middle class family, who are described at the upper echelon as sort of middle income. They've got a big house, big detached house, and high tech, and they're pretty at the upper end of wealth on the middle class scale. But it's just brilliant black comedy, elements of horror. The other thing that was magical about it was Boone Joon-ho obviously spoke very little English. He wonderfully went around on the awards season with his interpreter. All that was brilliant, and he was kind of marketing his country really just by being himself. I saw Okja on Netflix. That was great. I've seen Memories of Murder, Mother. I must see The Host. I haven't seen it, but this could have been higher up. This. When the BAFTAs gave the best film of 1917, I just thought this is typical sort of British. And when 1917 came, everyone's going, it's all in one take, it's all in one take, he shot all in one take. They're going on. It's like, yeah, it's a good film, it's a good technical piece of filmmaking. It's not Parasite. And it was just a very conservative thing at BAFTA. And the Oscars looked, they looked hip for the first time, not virtue signalling. And when I had the Oscars so white pressure, which I think was necessary. There's that danger they would get it, sort of trip over themselves. But when they did Parasite, they looked like really, really in the moment. Okay, number 2. I can't believe what I'm putting number 1, but it's the film I know I'll enjoy forever. So number 2 is The Wolf of Wall Street. Okay, so we'll get the dodgy thing out of the way. I don't like the bit, obviously, when he punches Margot Robbie character in the stomach and calls her a C. I don't think that was necessary, but it does that thing. This guy's a shyster, but Scorsese does that brilliant thing like Goodfellas, where Hitchcock would do, where he makes you complicit in their behaviour. This is laugh out loud funny. Jonah Hill's hilarious. DiCaprio gives what I think is his best performance. I think he should have won the Oscar for this. I think it was up against Chiwetel for 12 Years a Slave that year, but Matthew McConaughey won for Dallas Buyers Club. He's very good in that, Matthew McConaughey, but he's not as good as either of those two actors. I'd have gone for Leo, I think. It's a close one, but the best bit is when he's drunk and he does that pratfall into the swimming pool. Obviously I don't act myself, but it's very hard to get that right, and he just gets it so right, and he has that Paul Newman quality, Leo DiCaprio. So he's a movie star, but he's doing the kind of character part thing. But I'm not sure what else he brings in. But Newman could always be a bit restricted in some ways, and he's got a great light touch in this. Probably the actor of the noughties, certainly the 2010s, Leonardo DiCaprio, the movie star. The Revenant. Actually, that was a possibility as well. He did Inception. I think you had to pick one actor who stood out as the movie. There's not many movie stars left, and he was one. Obviously, probably Tom Hanks and Tom Cruise, but Leo was the actor of the 2010s. But yeah, this never bores you. It's laugh out loud funny. The guy's a shyster, but you just can't help be swept up to it. I think Scorsese does all his usual stuff, but he kind of sits back a bit and lets the comedy play out. He could have been flashier with this, more Goodfellas, more Casino in his directorial flourishes, but he's not. He kind of takes a sit back a bit. And there's a great bit with Matthew McConaughey where he's doing the thing in the chest. Numerous moments. That's my number 2. So just going back, let's go back through the top 10. I'm trying to remember this now. Looking at my notes, number 10 had 12 Years a Slave. 9 Mission Impossible. Fallout. 8 Gone Girl. 7 Mad Max Fury Road. 6 Whiplash. 5 Blade Runner 2049. 4 Boyhood. 3 Parasite. 2 Wolf of Wall Street. These aren't really in any order, but I'd say Parasite, Wolf of Wall Street, Blade Runner 2049. Kind of up the food chain there. So my number 1 is going to shock people, but I just think this film is perfect. You're going to make a family film, and you're going to do it right and get it right, and there's not an ounce of fat. There's no false moments. It's not too long. It's not too short. The production values are just right. The casting's perfect. It also contains one of the great comic performances by a British actor, and I think it's a performance that has put this guy into his third career, and we look at him very different, and it's actually Paddington 2. There you go. So I loved Paddington 1, and then we went to see Paddington 2, and we just thought Paddington was great. This is just amazing. Brendan Gleeson, Hugh Grant especially, just brilliant. Hugh Bonneville's brilliant. Sally Hawkins. all the supporting cast. Ben Whishaw, his voiceover for Paddington, superb. The special effects on Paddington are great because he looks like a cuddly toy, but it's good CGI. And it's got a wonderful moment where he imagines taking his mum around London, but it comes up in an animated pop-up book, which I think is really beautiful. It's got a great climax on a train where the director brings into the James Bond, Indiana Jones style tropes. I mean, I think the director of Paddington films is the unsung hero. I think I can't remember his name. It's Paul something or other. Apologies. But he gets he didn't get mentioned really. They tend to talk about all the other things, but he does a brilliant job. I think they're doing Paddington 3. They'll have a tough act to follow, but I think the thing is with the casting of the Paddington character, if you play it the right way, like the Toy Story films, there's a really fantastic trilogy there. So, funny as it may seem, Paddington 2 is my favourite film of 2010 to 2019. Cheers, thanks.